I have witnessed many stories of infidelity, but the one that affected me personally still lingers in my memory. It all took place within the confines of a single neighborhood. Imagine a scene of free-flowing beer, dimly lit like a scene from a low-budget comedy movie. As fate would have it, I wandered into someone else's room while intoxicated as a third-year college student. She, almost married and about to graduate, offered no resistance, and our night of fun quickly turned into a regretful morning. I vividly remember the splitting headache that accompanied my awakening and consider it one of my worst experiences. I did not realize that the most tumultuous period was yet to come. She confessed that her conscience could not bear the burden of hiding her infidelity from her fiancé. I shrugged indifferently, thinking, "That's your problem, whatever you decide." That became her reason for avoiding her impending marriage. And then just a month later, the news came: she was pregnant. Without realizing it myself, I found myself in the registry office, joining in marriage with this amateur schemer of mine who was now carrying a full belly of life. My father's despair and my mother's tears accompanied me as I witnessed the unexpected creation of this family. I watched this chaos with confusion, trying to understand how one night of drinking could have led to such a disastrous outcome. Life went on as it always does. My son came along and somehow we managed to bond. I was working 2 jobs and she was undeniably beautiful. But when our son turned 3, my wife declared her desire to do good and contribute to society through work. I did not object to her decision, although I must admit that her choice of shift work seemed odd to me. We agreed that my sister would care for our son under my supervision, and life went on. But not for long. It was only 2 months before the truth came out. My wife cleverly manipulated her shifts, replacing day shifts with night shifts to spend nights with her lover while our son slept soundly. The divorce came quickly, as did the rushed marriage and job she sought. We fought tirelessly for custody of our son, but fate, that evil entity, had other plans. The court ruled against me and I became a weekend parent. It was a bitter pill to swallow, as my formerly loving family was crumbling before my eyes. I was left with the remnants of what was and what could have been. We each went on with our own lives, trying to rebuild what had been destroyed. I can't tell you exactly how many years have passed since our divorce, maybe 2, maybe 3. The flames of our relationship have long since died down, leaving us with a sense of resignation and acceptance. I vaguely remember it as my first breakup story. She had invited me over to her house, but by then I had already found a wonderful girl and we had been building a strong, healthy relationship for a while. Initially, I didn't realize why she suddenly wanted to talk in the kitchen. As I entered the house, my son was busy gathering his toys for a walk, while my ex carefully brewed coffee in a hurry. I sat down on a cheap plastic chair, prepared for anything that might come up, silently amused by the thought of her asking about my new prosperous lover. From a distance, she began, "How nice of you to come today." And noticing my distracted smile, she continued, "I'm so tired of being alone. It's really tough taking care of our son. But how are things going for you?" It was an odd question with an equally strange answer. Just as I was processing her question, a cup of hot coffee landed on the table in front of me, leaving me dumbfounded. After a couple of seconds, a revenge plan formulated in my mind. "You know, things aren't going great," I said, nibbling on some delicious snacks she had provided instead of drinking the coffee. I decided to give my ex some hope. She never learned how to cook, not even a simple cup of coffee. I keep telling her we don't have much money, but she insists on buying expensive things. Thanks to you, I can see now how much better off I am without her. A smile appeared on her face. In Rome, money is like time, doubling its worth. You can see how difficult it is for us, living alone in a rented apartment. My personal life isn't going well either. Men only want one thing, and when it gets serious, who wants to be with a divorced woman with a child? My monologue seemed to amuse her even more. She almost insulted my son, calling him a burden. Yeah, I nodded understandingly. I've been dealing with that too. My work is a piece of cake, unlike her constant complaining. How can you not repeat yourself when she's always nagging? I hardly have time for myself. Both of them stared at me, and I realized I was treading on thin ice. I quickly clarified, "Well, I mean, she can be a little difficult at times, but overall I'm 200% happy. Despite the ups and downs, the arguments, and all the other nonsense, I find comfort and peace with her. She feels like home to me, you know? Thank you for cheating on me. If there had been a real reason, we would have never broken up. But there was no reason." As I sat with my hand resting on a nearby chair, I observed my ex-wife trembling in front of me, captivated by her every reaction. She appeared pathetic and caught off guard by the words I spoke. I couldn't help but think to myself, to give hope and then mercilessly crush it is the epitome of cynicism. As I finished my brief monologue, it became evident that I had deeply unsettled her with my words. In a swift motion, she jumped up from her seat and hurried to the stove, swiftly turning the switches to maximum and igniting the fire. I sensed a chill in the air. In response, I directed my entire body towards her, fixing my gaze upon her with intensity. My eyes silently conveyed the message, nervous. Then, with a louder tone, I continued, I don't need you anymore. You were only necessary at times. Women are nothing but empty spaces. Just give me a reason, and I won't hesitate to take legal action against my own son. So be cautious with your actions. If you stumble, I'll be here ready to witness it. Since that moment, my son and I have been enjoying pleasant outings together, and our interactions have become more frequent. It dawned on me that it is not worth reconnecting every aspect of my life with my ex-wife, especially not to the fullest extent. It became clear to me that she had her own concerns to occupy her life after our divorce.